I just wanted to send a little recap this month. We've covered a lot of things if you've been in the program with us since this fall. We kicked off with our Conscious Discipline Parent Night event where they went over kind of the big picture. And then each month we've been breaking down different skills and topics in our home visits or by video. And I hope you've been able to follow along and watch those. We feel like we've shared a lot of information. So this month we wanted to just take a deep breath and kind of recap what we've covered. And then next month in April, we're going to really start diving into some screen time type topics just because it's such a big part of our world now and an important topic to tackle. And we'll be using a book called The Anxious Generation. It's a hard, long book to tackle reading. So we're going to hopefully be able to share some of the main points with you. But if you're a podcast listener or a big reader, I would encourage you to check out Jonathan Hyatt and The Anxious Generation. You'll find him on lots of different platforms. You can also follow him on social media. And so I'd encourage you to get a sneak peek as that's what's to come. But also just today wanted to take a deep breath because we're good at that now, right? And kind of review real quickly some of the things that if you've gotten nothing else, here are some takeaways that we hope that you have grasped from the topics that we've talked about. So first of all is the importance of the adult's state of being and remembering that kids can only be as elevated in their brain states to that which their adults and grown-ups around them are. So if we're in our emotional state or our red zone state, then that's where our kids are going to land as well. But if we can stay in our green state and keep our composure and stay calm and remember that their behaviors are happening in front of us, not to us, and not take it personally, and take those deep breaths. And remember that our kids, when they're in that fight or flight red zone, that the goal is to help them feel safe. And out of control adult does not feel safe. And so the more calm we can stay and do our own deep breathing, model that for our kids. We've talked about safe spaces. Something else that really as a preventative measure helps our kids feel safe are using those visual routines that we brought to your homes last month if you were in the program. And then the other big piece, so breathing for us, those calm responses, starting with empathy. Wow, you're looking really frustrated. Let's take a deep breath and then moving into the next thing. And then also teaching our kids, if they're over one, we can start working on some of those deep breathing, whether it's pretzel or balloon or our star breathing. Sorry, lacking my word there. We can help teach those to them. We love that Calm Down Monkey book that you can start introducing those ideas to our the young ones and little right from the start. And then the second thing that we've really touched on recently is that connection. So once our kids feel safe, then they need to feel connected. And that's a human need for all of us. And if the pandemic taught us nothing, it did teach us how important those connections are. And our world has never been more lonely. People report at really high levels how lonely they are. And we're seeing the effects of that, especially on people's physical and mental health. And for our kiddos whose brains are still developing, the way that they learn about our world and how to interact with other people is through those relationships. And their first and most important one is with you, their caregiver. And so making sure that we set aside time for having activities with those 4 areas of connection, which were that eye contact, touch, presence, and playfulness. And I think right now, as I said in our newsletter this month, the biggest barrier right now for our kids for that is unfortunately a lot of times us, and it's our busyness and our schedules that are just crazy, and then us being distracted by screens and not being able to give them that full attention, which is what they need so much right now with those serve and return exchanges, that open-ended play. And so we talked about just 10 minutes. And so that would be my goal for you, is if you've taken nothing else out of these first few months, which I'm guessing that you've learned a ton and had some great conversations with your parent educator, and hopefully have enjoyed some of these videos that you can go back and rewatch and remind yourself. I could tell you what, I could sit in a conscious discipline training every month because I always learn more. I always need those refreshers. They're skills that we'll be working on the rest of our lives, and they're actually helpful with the grown-ups in our lives too, whether your spouse, your coworkers, extended family. They're skills that will help us with all of our relationships. So go back and watch videos if you've missed them this month. rehash those areas with your parent educator that maybe you're struggling with. Maybe it's keeping that composure, maybe it's finding ways to get those 10 minutes in. And remember, those just 10 minutes can be in bath time, at mealtime, in the car, times when you are already with your child. It's just being a little bit more intentional about making them playful, making sure that we're present, making sure they include touch and that eye contact that they crave so much from you. And if we're doing those things, I tell people all the time, if you're doing those little playful things 10 minutes a day, maybe a family meal time, and reading books aloud to your kid, you can screw up a lot of other things. And if you have those anchor points in your day, it's really going to help repair and keep that connection and help you stay in tune with your child, which will help their brain development and their overall development so much. So that's just a little review and recap. We wish you well as you continue to learn these skills alongside with us, and hope you have some great conversations and enjoy this warmer weather and a chance to hopefully get outside and enjoy that unstructured free time with your kiddo. Have a great day.